All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today I want to talk to you guys about my margin account. And more specifically, we got some data that refers back to, okay, how much do we pay in margin? How much margin debt are we accumulating? And how much have we paid over the last 3 weeks? How much margin debt have we paid down? So throughout the course of this video, it's going to be a simple video. It's not going to be the most put together video, but what I want to do in this video is I want to take you guys through my buys, which you guys might have already known. I bought quite a bit on margin. I bought roughly about $16,000 worth of margin. That's through investing $3,000 on my own. It was about $13,000. But what I want to do is take you through my initial buy. Cool. How much we've made from our initial buys on margin and how much we've been able to pay down within the past 3 weeks and why this margin strategy is potentially working. So if that does sound good and you guys do want to kind of stick around and see how margin works and all that kind of stuff, we're up to 8,074 subscribers, 257 subscribers in the past 28 days. My screen's going kind of fuzzy here. Maybe we can get that better. There we go. So our account balance is at the highest it's ever been. That's cool. We're only up about 2.86% because we've invested quite a bit of money. Of course, a portion of that is now using margin. And so what we've done is basically we've purchased quite a few dividend stocks on margin. And to show you the list right here, we have MSTY, XYZY, PYPY, Coney, NVDY, SPXL, which is not a dividend paying stock. It's a very small dividend paying stock, maybe about 1.4% per year. So it's negligible. And then we have XYZY again. So these are all the buys that I did for them. And this is actually, it's a little bit confusing because a lot of these buys I actually did back in April. It was April 30th where I made these buys. If I could take you guys back to those, I'm going to take off these dividends right here. Go to the trades. April 30th was a big day where I made a lot of my margin purchases. So really, they did not happen in May. They happened in April up here. And with all those buys, what basically happened was I have the current prices right here, which are the prices of them today. I also have the prices at which I bought them at. So MSTY, I bought at $24.23. And the current price for that is $23.59. Oh, let me kind of zoom out here. Let me get this so it's looking right for you guys. I know my computer's kind of going a little crazy here, but let's see if we can fix that. Okay, we're going to zoom in. Boom. There we go. Okay. So MSTY, $24.23. Current price, $23.59. That is with the dividend paid out. It says I'm down about 2.64%, but I'm actually up on that position due to the dividend paid out, which was approximately $237 if I remember correctly, because it was a very recent payment. I do remember that right here. MSTY, $237. Cool, on my 100 shares. So what else do we have? We have XYZY. My initial buy was $10.68. The current price is $9.65. I'm down about 10% on that position. XYZY also paid out a dividend in that time period. But as I'll show you guys in the future, that cancels out due to a buy that I did, which kind of made up for it. PYPY, I bought it at $12.72. It's now up to $13.48. Roughly about a 6% gain there. Coney, I bought for $8.05. And current price on that is $8.76. About 8.8%. Now, one of my real best buys, these are my two best buys. We had NVDY at $14.01, which was my average purchase price. And the current price is $16.93. That's a 20% gain. So on a Yieldmax ETF, which has paid out a couple dividends, I think it's paid out one dividend, NVDY. That's a very amazing return. So I picked it up at a great price. SPXL, which is a 3 times bull on the S&P 500, I picked up at $122, currently sitting at $156. So 27% gain there. That is awesome. This is my real capital appreciation play. It's the only kind of growth play that I'm buying currently. It goes 3 times bull on the S&P 500 index. I really like it. And then remember I talked about XYZY with my buy here at $10.68, how I'm down about 10%. Well, XYZY, I did another buy after its share price took a steep dive. I still believe the company was a good company. I believed it was poised for growth in the future. So I bought at $8.77, and my return on that is about 10%. So if we look at these ones, I'm slightly up on my XYZY buy. but very slightly, about 0.1%, 0.2%. So all in all, when we look at all of that, when I look at the sum of the dollar amounts, in terms of Canadian dollars, I did invest in Canadian dollars. I put in about $16,000 invested, and my return on that in terms of a capital return is about $1,081. Keep in mind, this is a capital return. So this is not a return of dividends. This is simply just a return that I received at buying Yieldmax ETFs at great prices. So right then and there, we're up about $1,000. But the main thing with Yieldmax ETFs, as you guys know from my channel, and as well, if you watch other creators on YouTube, Yieldmax ETFs pay huge dividends. And so what have they done so far? So $12,835, this marker that you see right here, this is basically the starting debt that I accumulated in my margin account. As you can see now, my margin debt is roughly at about $9,500. So what I want to share with you guys here is I want to show you guys just within the past month. Actually, I need to change this because this number's incorrect here. We have 9,587.92. 9,587.92. And the reason that I'm changing that is because it had my cash account linked to that. That is not correct. This is the correct number. So in terms of my margin debt, we've seen a fall in the margin debt about $3,247 within the past like 3 weeks or so. Of course, some Yieldmax ETFs have paid out some really high dividends, which contributes to that. When I look back to my account, there's only one deposit, but the deposit, if I can go and show you guys here, just to be completely transparent. So the deposit happened on April 30th. That was the exact date where I bought all these Yieldmax ETFs. So that's why I mentioned that I actually put in about 16,000, 13,000 or so was on margin debt, and then about 2,700 was on kind of cash, you could say, cash that I converted to DLR.to, which I then journaled to DLR.u.to, so I would save on conversion fees. So all in all, my margin debt started at $12,835. Now it sits at about $9,500. So about a $3,200 change in the past 3 weeks. That is awesome. I bought at great prices, and you can basically say I made about $4 or so grand off of that margin buy just due to the appreciation I've currently received and the margin debt that has been paid down, that has been converted into equity for my account. So all in all, it was a very good buy. You can see even my account here sitting at about 38,000, now sitting at about close to 44, but it is not over yet. We've currently reached almost like a peak within the market. I believe we've reached the previous peak. And so it's no telling what we do from here. And it's great and all that our account value has gone up, but it's important to prepare for the downside. And in preparing for the downside, I made sure my buying power was more than capable of handling a 20 or 30% correction. As you can see here, as my equities pay down over time and I get less and less margin debt, that means I will have more and more buying power, slightly more. So it's gone from 19,000 all the way up to about 23,000 right here, which is awesome. And the final marker, which I want to show you guys right here, is how much I was charged for all that margin debt. So I'm paying about 12% on about $8,000 to $10,000 over the past month, and it charged me about $80 in terms of margin debt. And I have that actually here on my tracker, my calculator, which I track everything on. I will hopefully try and get this available for you guys. I'm trying to still work on it, make it as awesome as possible, create websites, everything like that. But I'm doing it one step at a time just because I'm a little overwhelmed with work and everything like that. And I want to still make great videos for you guys. So this is what I've done. A holding period of 30 days, $8,000 to $10,000 invested. This is all in USD. I paid $80 for this at a rate of 12%. You can see here my total account balance went up about $3,000. My buying power slightly up. And what I do here in order to make sure I don't get a margin call is I keep track of the total percent of my total account balance that is available for my buying power, which is about 42%. And I know this might all sound confusing, but basically I take my total account balance, I multiply it by 42%, and that is my total account buying power. And that tells me roughly what number in the future, if my account was to go to, let's say, $20,000, and I wasn't sure, okay, what could my buying power be? I would put in, let's say, $12,000 for buying power, and that is too much. As you can see right here, I'm going to go, what's going to be closer is 8200. That should be roughly about 41%. So why do I do this? I do this because if I know my buying power hovers around 42% of my total account balance, that means if my account goes down, let's say 50%, I will get a margin call when my buying power hits about $8,000. Meaning if I am holding, for example, $9,000 in margin and my account balance goes to $20,000 in this margin account, I will get a margin call, meaning I will have to add about $1,500 to offset my buying power going down. So that's some way that I protect myself, is just keeping track of everything, keeping track of my buys, keeping track of my available buying power, and then as well, of course, checking my total monthly margin expenses, because at the end of the year, we could use this as a tax write-off, which is awesome. So all in all, this was the total breakdown of my margin, how it's performed over the past year, how I've been able to accumulate about $3,250 towards paying down my margin debt. This is through Yieldmax investing, and I will keep you guys updated on any future monthly income updates with this, because it's going to be very exciting. This is the first month that I've been using my margin, and what I'm going to do is track exactly how much I'm making each month to see, okay, are we growing, or we're going to be growing our accounts, but how fast are we growing? That's the real thing. So that's what we're keeping in mind. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you did, we're up to 8,074 subscribers. You'll help us out by subscribing. That'll definitely support the channel. You don't have to pay for anything. Of course, you have your time invested, so I like to make the most of it. I hope you guys did enjoy. And if you did, stick around till next time. And I hope to see you then, guys. Please take it easy. Until next time.